We need to talk about something because my wife has kicked me out of the bedroom. I have to sleep on the couch now. I have to record all my videos on this couch. I'm literally wearing a chastity belt right now, sitting here on the couch. We need to talk about GBP USD. I lost a forex trade this morning. I took it yesterday, lost it this morning. I closed it in a small loss, and we're going to talk about it. And why it's so important to be able to manage risk while taking small losses. So that way, whenever you do get a series of trades that win, like a nice big win streak, you haven't given it all back in the meantime with losses. The losses need to be small relative to the gains. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This is GBP USD. So in my Telegram channel yesterday, I posted GBP USD in here, and I'll put a link to this in the description and the pinned comment. It's free. It's completely free. You can join it in the next 5-10 seconds. If you don't like it, if you think it's bullshit, you can leave. And you can sleep on the couch too, for all I give a shit, because I don't care. The couch is actually not that bad. I don't mind sleeping here on the couch, okay? I don't need a damn bed. I ain't no wussy. I can sleep on the couch. It's fine. So I called this trade on GBP USD. I took a sell on this trade right here. So why did I take a sell? Very simple. Price came into a weekly resistance zone and I sold. All I do is I buy at support and I what? I buy at support and I sell at resistance. That's good. That's good. And you don't need to do two things to be profitable in trading. You have to keep things simple and control risk. Even my wife, who hates me and it has her other boyfriend in the other room right now, even she understands what I'm supposed to be doing in trading, and it still doesn't even work every single time. But it works better than spinning around in circles with some stupid, complicated trading strategy that you saw from some guru claiming that you got to wait for the moving average to do this and that, Fibonacci pullback, retracement, Wagyu beef, order block, institutional liquidity, bank manipulation strategy, to then get in with a 1 to 69 risk to reward ratio and smile with a straight face as you look in the mirror every morning as a failed trader with your spouse leaving you because you suck that bad, trying to convince yourself that everything's okay. It's not. You need to keep things simple and control risk. That's what I do in trading, and that is why I am profitable amidst all the losing streaks and all the break-even periods. When I win, I always win more than I lose cumulatively. So I took this trade here. I sold at resistance here on the weekly. I just buy at support, sell it weekly, or I buy at support, sell at resistance on higher time frames. That's it. And this trade broke above and I lost. Now, I want to go here to the lower time frame, which is the 1 hour, to show you why I ended up closing this trade. So my entries yesterday were right here. I had a sell right here. I had a stop loss way above this zone, way further up. I'll show you the exact trade so you can pause the video and screenshot it if you want. Here's the exact trade I took right here. Let's see. Where is it at? Okay, GBP USD. I'm short on GBP USD. This is what it looked like when I entered yesterday. All right, there's my actual order parameters. $80,000 risk. You see the stop loss is way up here. Take profit at 1-to-1. Same stuff I always do, right? This morning, I closed this right here at $23,000 loss. So about 30% of the way to the stop loss, right? So 80K risk, 23K loss. Basically, I lost like a fourth of what the stop loss is. A little bit above that. And the reason being is because when I looked at the context here and saw that price was breaking above the zone, I ended up getting out of the trade. Now, where exactly did I get out of the trade? I'm going to show you it right here. This is where I got out of the trade. I took this trade last night. It started going into a little bit of profit, went up, went to more profit this morning. And then what happened is as price, after I entered right here, price went up, came down, went up, came down, went to profit. Then it pushed up, came back and tested these recent highs, bounced, made a new high, pulled back, and then started going up again. And this is where I closed this morning here, a couple hours ago. Around 7 a.m. What's it? 12 p.m. So perhaps a little bit earlier than this. Maybe I closed, it was somewhere in here. You know what? We're going to look at the exact time I closed. 7:34 a.m. So what is that? 5 hours ago? So I closed 5 hours ago. So basically right in here as price was doing that. Now, an important thing to take away from this is to recognize that the price is only really going to do one of two things when you enter. It's either going to go up like it did here, or it's going to go down. Here's the magic trick that I play whenever I'm trading. When price starts going into profit, generally speaking, I hold the trade. So if this was going into profit, I would have held it and I would have tried to hold it all the way to the profit target. Okay. There are some cases like maybe 10, 15% of the time where the context dictates that I'll close the trade early in profit. Like say it's about to hit the take profit and it's like a Friday and it's about to be session changeover when the market closes. I'm like, okay, instead of holding the trade over the weekend, risking spreads, gaps, swaps, commissions, I'd rather just close the trade there because it was basically a winner. And technically I closed the trade early, but that's okay. But in most cases, I hold the trade to the profit target. Now, the first thing is that price will either go down into profit if you're selling at resistance. The second thing that happens is that it goes up. The price is usually not going to go sideways at the exact same price you entered for the rest of your life. Generally speaking, that's not going to happen. Okay, 99.999 infinitesimally percentage of the time, it's not going to do that. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. So this is really easy for you as a trader because if it does start going against you, all you do is you close the damn trade. Okay, now let's look at a couple reasons that are context-based as to why I closed this trade. We have this major support resistance zone that I entered the trade based off of, okay? If I was right, price would have bounced somewhere in this region, just like it has in the past on all these zones. Broke above, came back, found support twice, dipped a little bit below during these times, but then pushed back above. Now we broke below, we came all the way back up to retest, and if it's going to bounce, it's probably going to bounce somewhere here in this region. The fact that that didn't happen is a good sign that it might not be working out as you intended, as you originally had hoped for, because you can never predict which way price is going to go. You can only participate in trades that have a good risk structure, set a stop loss, set a profit target, then you manage it dynamically based on what occurs and what starts to play out after you enter. So in this case, what happened is price started breaking above. Cool. What did I do? On the 1 hour, price broke above, it tested here support, tried to go up, make a new high, failed, came back, tried to break below the zone, but failed to go downwards, and then we got a new high. That's the first sign you should be like, okay, we're holding here as support, we've broken above, and now we're making a new high. Honestly, that would be good enough to close right there. However, if you look down here in the morning, those 3 a.m. my time, May 25th, 2026 at 3 a.m., it was a little bit early. I'm not really awake at that time. I'm usually sleeping on this couch alone, or I'm in bed with my wife if I happen to be on a win streak. And in that case, I'm not awake. So what ended up happening here, it broke above this zone, came back, tested the recent highs that it was just at, and then we had another bounce. Okay, then we pulled back and started going up again. I just decided, you know what? This trade is probably going to continue to the upside, which so far it has. And I closed at a small loss, which was, again, you saw it, 23K out of an 80K risk. That's roughly a little more than like a quarter of the way to the stop. Okay, that's a small loss relative to what it could have been if it was a profit target. And it's all based on the context. So in this case, I've gotten out of this trade and I took a small loss and I'm pretty happy with it. Now, another trade that I'm in right now is AUD/USD. Now, if we go here to the weekly, we can see that this region here where price is at, let me use this little rectangle thing. We can see that this region right here is an area where prices bounce multiple times, okay? So we've got resistance. We had a little break above, and then within 2 weeks, price came back below, closed below this zone, found resistance again, and now we're currently sitting here as resistance again. Now remember, anything can happen. Don't give me the macroeconomic fundamental analysis and context, and there's going to be some economic news release that causes this and the strengthening of the US dollar, which is going to put opposite inverted pressure on GBP/USD and cause price to go up. Okay, no one cares, nor does it actually work. You're going to be right half the time, you're going to be wrong half the time. You might as well just flip a damn coin because you cannot predict which way price is going to go. Good news all the time sends price down, and bad news, quote unquote, all the time sends the price up. You don't know what the hell's going to happen. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and any other reading the tea leaves, magic tricks, and mental gymnastics you're trying to play with yourself to convince yourself which way price is going, none of that shit works. The only way you make money is if you use a very controlled risk and you happen to make more when you're right versus what you happen to lose whenever you're wrong. And that is why, in this case, I have elected to sell here at this resistance zone. I put a stop loss above this zone and a target below at 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And now let's take a look at what's happening. I'm going to remove this resistance zone here. We're just going to leave the line so we know what we're working with, meaning it's just a little bit more like pinpointed right here. We know that in the past when price was at this zone, if we're going to bounce here, it's generally going to bounce. So we're going to have a nice little movement. Okay, we're going to have a nice little movement off this zone. So what did I do? I entered a sell when price got here this morning and started rejecting. And this is what it looked like the moment that I entered. This is my private Discord server where I share all my personal trades live. None of it is financial advice. It is very generalized. I just share what I'm doing. It's like basically a trading journal for myself. But you can pay to have access to this group, and then you can just follow all my trades. You know, you can do whatever you want with them. You can just watch them. You can be like a voyeur sitting there in the background eating popcorn, just watching. If this analysis helps inform your trades and you want to take your own trades based off the things I post, that's fine too, right? Everyone can have their opinion. I have my opinion, and I post all the trades I'm taking here as kind of like a trading journal for myself, and I call everything out live in real time that I'm doing just to try to help you learn how to trade a little bit better so you can see it all happen live. Getting experience is the best way to learn how to trade by far. So Telegram channels where I have all my free analysis where I just post the analysis for the trades. But as far as the specifics of what I'm actually doing in real time, I post it all here in this Discord server. So at 7:52 a.m. this morning, I entered a sell here at this resistance zone. That's what it looked like when I entered. This is a 4-hour chart. You can see my exact entry right here. I have an entry right there. I have a stop way above the zone, and I have a target at 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Right. So that way, if we fall here at this zone, all it has to do is it has to just go about maybe like halfway between like to the previous support zone down here. It just has to fall about halfway. My profit target will be hit. And if it goes up above the zone to this area, roughly speaking, it'll hit the stop loss and I'll lose 50K. I didn't risk 100K on this because it's not a daily or a weekly zone. Those are more reliable. This is a little bit kind of a lower time frame zone. Technically, it's a weekly zone if you go to the weekly and you draw the zone I just drew. But for me to be safe, I just used all the recent highs as the reference point to figure out where to put the stop, right? So it's basically, it's basically this right here. Stop above, target below, 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So what am I going to do if it goes into profit? Okay. Now remember, if a trade goes into profit, I try to hold my winning trades. And if it starts going in a drawdown, I try to get out of it a little bit early. So, baby, can I still call you baby? Are you still my wife?
Yes.
Okay. What am I going to do if a trade starts going into profit? Am I going to hold it or am I going to close it immediately?
Hold it.
I'm going to hold it. That's right. See, even my wife knows, right? And she sucks at trading. I mean, she learned from me and I suck at trading. Okay, but what if it starts going into drawdown and going against me? What am I going to try to do? Am I going to hold it or am I going to try to get out of it?
Try to get out of it.
I'm going to try to get out of it. I'm going to try to run away. I'm going to scream. I'm going to be butt-ass naked, running down the street away from the trade, trying to get away. Don't be naked. You don't want me to be naked?
I mean with me.
With you, okay. If I'm lucky enough, guys, when I go on a win streak this week, she'll finally let me come back into my bedroom. She'll kick her boyfriend out, which actually, he's a pretty good guy, and he supports me in my trading journey. He thinks it's real cute that I'm trying to do that.
By boyfriend, he means Ruby.
Ruby is a dog who is in fact a female, so she is lying. But whenever I take this trade, if it starts going against me here, I'm just going to try to get out of it. What might it look like? Okay, you can see I've got two little zones here. One of them is to draw the main area where prices bounced multiple times before, and this second little line I've drawn just encapsulates all the recent extreme highs that have just formed here. And my stop loss number is way above this zone. Well, let's take a look at what would have to happen. If it goes up again here, gets to the high, and then it pulls back here and makes another higher low, then it gets to this high again, then it starts breaking above, that right there, at around this location here, that might be a good area where I just decide, you know what, time to get out of this trade, time to close. Okay, you can do this on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minute, whatever you want. I generally use the daily and the weekly for trading ideas, and then I manage based on the 1 hour. So it's pretty simple. So if price starts breaking above this zone and going to the upside, that is when you want to try to get out of the trade. And I can't technically tell you you should do this because, this is your life. I can't tell you what the hell to do. I'm not your dad. Okay, now there are some people that call me daddy. There are a few people that call me daddy. There's one person that calls me daddy, my wife. Some of my clients call me daddy. And but I'm not going to tell you what to do. You can do whatever the hell you want. But all I'm saying is that what I personally do, not financial advice, right? It's just me yelling at you in a YouTube video. Trading's risky. You're probably going to lose money doing this anyway because 99% of people lose money. But in my very humble opinion, what a person should do if they are losing a trade is they should try to find some reasons to get out of it. They should try to find a way to be like, okay, you know what, this isn't working. If it was working, it would have already started going into profit. And since that's not occurring, maybe I should try to get out of the trade. So generally speaking, if it starts making higher lows, coming up here, banging in resistance over and over, refusing to drop, that would be a good time to get out of the trade. And that protects you because then you lose a smaller amount whenever you're wrong. And then whenever you're right, you make a bigger amount on average, right? When you basket in all your wins and losses. That is what we needed to talk about in today's video because I see so many people losing money trading when in reality, there shouldn't be that many people losing money trading in my opinion. And I'll tell you why before you crucify me. Here is why. If you blindfold yourself, like my wife does to me sometimes, if you blindfold yourself and you just enter buys and sells randomly on the charts with 1-to-1 risk reward ratios, half the time, it's going to go to your stop loss. The other half the time, it's going to go to your profit target. This means that net of fees and commissions, which is it's pretty low if you're trading Forex, right? Swaps and commissions is not really that big of a deal, especially if you're trading higher time frames. But generally speaking, what that means is you're going to roughly break even as a trader given enough trades. And again, this is if you blindfold yourself and enter random 1-to-1 risk reward ratios just on any time frame on any pair. Like I said, preferably higher time frames so the stop losses are greater and the lot sizes are smaller, so you're paying less swaps and commissions. If you do that, you're a break-even trader. We should have more people breaking even. We should have more people listening to Nick Sean, who is so humble from the top of his high-rise building here, even though, he's kind of a cuckold because his wife leaves him whenever he's on a losing streak. Even Nick Sean is telling you, look, if you just blindfold yourself and enter a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio and you go back test this shit in TradingView, for F's sake, do it yourself, like just to try to demonstrate what I'm showing you here. You can validate this on your own independently. You are roughly going to break even if you do that. Now, what does a trader have to do to move from break even into profitability? They have to find a way to make a little more when they happen to be right versus what they lose when they're wrong. And hint, hint, here's the key to the kingdom. If you're in a losing trade and it starts going against you, get out of the damn trade. You can close a little bit early. The 1-to-1 risk reward ratio is just for like maximum worst case scenario emergency, right? And I get my stop losses hit sometimes, but a lot of the times I don't. A lot of the times it starts going against me and I can close halfway to the stop, or a fourth of the way to the stop like I did this morning, or a third of the way to the stop like I did on GBP USD. It's really not that difficult to do. The thing that moves you from a break-even trader to a profitable trader is experience. That applied experience that generates things like discretion, intuition, subjective judgment, your trade management skills. Like you're asking, what the hell do I do now that it's going against me? And then you make that manual subjective decision that is like a trade management decision and context based. Where like, I'm going to close the trade a little bit early if it starts to go against me. And guess what? If it starts going back into what would have been profit, it's not a big deal because you can just re-enter the damn trade. That's right, folks. Some people call it, what do they call it? Revenge trading. They call you're trading emotionally. You're doing this and that. Look. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. People are like, oh, you're revenge trading because you re-entered. I got out of GBP USD this morning at $23,000 loss. Okay, guess what? If it closes down here for some reason in the next, maybe like 3.5 hours before market closes, and the daily candle closes with a big wick, what am I probably going to do? Well, after Asian session opens and the spreads calm down a couple hours into Asian session as we go into Australian session later in the evening here in Texas, Central Standard Time in the USA, I'm probably just going to re-enter the damn trade, and it's not that big of a deal. Because guess what? If it does that and it goes back here and closes below the zone again, and then it starts going sideways at the resistance for a couple candles in the 1 hour, I can just re-enter a sell, put my stop loss above, put my target below, and I'm in basically the same trade again. It's okay. But what will happen oftentimes whenever you close a trade early in a loss is, in my experience, more than half the time, it ends up going against you and would have continued to the stop loss. That is why when I'm right, I try to hold on to a trade and pretty quickly because it'll probably start moving into profit relatively quickly. It's not the case every time, but most of the time that's what happens. You're right about a trade, it starts moving into profit. And when you're wrong, it'll start moving against you. It is not rocket science. You can look at your terminal P&L and whatever trading platform you use. I use MetaTrader 5. If it's red, you can get out of the damn trade. If it's blue or green or whatever your trading terminal is for profit, you can hold on to the trade. You win more money than you lose by letting your winners run, in this case all the way to the profit target, and you lose less money than you win by closing your trades a little bit early when you happen to be wrong. Hold your winning trades a little longer than you hold your losing trades. By getting into that habit, knowing you can just re-enter if it starts turning back around and going in the original direction, that will enable you to probably get past the point of being a break-even trader or a losing trader. I don't even want to talk to you if you're a losing trader. I'm just kidding. I was a losing trader for 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. I know what it's like. Believe me, I know what it's like to be a cuckold, and it's not fun because I'm still a losing trader sometimes. 10 years into the game. It's been just over 10 years that I've been trading. 8 of those years have been profitable. I've made millions of dollars in Forex and crypto and stocks, and I still suck at trading, but I somehow continue to make money hand over fist every single year trading because I make more when I happen to be right versus what I lose when I happen to be wrong. That's it for today's video. Do you have anything you want to add, baby?
Have a great week.
Have a great week. Okay. I will try to have a great week as I try not to lose all these damn trades and sleep here on the couch. And honestly, it's kind of hurts because I've been having some back issues lately and my back kind of hurts and the couch it's hard for me to get comfortable at night. And so y'all pray for me that I'm going to have like a nice little win streak this week because I'd really love to go back and get in my bed. Well, in that case, I'm going to have a conversation with my wife about whether or not I get access to the bedroom again. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.